I read a message just now about unification or division, which is more competitive. Because there is no need to talk about China, right? If it is unified, it is China. So, what about division? Separatism is not one of China. Cut China into innumerable pieces. Or at least cut into 6 or 7 countries. This view is very popular in several countries bordering us in Asia. For example, Japan. For example, Vietnam. For example, Russia. For example, India. China is now unified. Unification won't last long. The change in China will certainly start with the actual autonomy of the local government. At some stages, it is possible to split. Eventually, China may form a federation. This is the most likely state. The time of division and unification in Chinese history is about half of the time. The split state takes a little longer. So, what about unification? It is not an expression of the form of a complete China. It can be said that it has been unified since the Qin Dynasty, but its territory has changed greatly. The largest territory of China is during the period of the Republic of China. This is a modern country. Tang Dynasty, Yuan Dynasty, Qing Dynasty. The territory they controlled used to be larger. But as a modern country, it has a clear territory and actual management, which should be said to be the early years of the Republic of China. So, is unification more competitive? This is for the central government. Even in this state of limited unity, the real competitive vitality is the economic development of each region. Even if it is uneven, it will drive each other. China's economic development is relatively good, more idealized, in fact, is the Northern Song Dynasty. Its civil service structure continues to this day. Its economic development, especially maritime trade, has so far been difficult to surpass. So, the territory is not the most important thing. The most important thing is to find a management model that conforms to the current situation in China. In today's China, because the political center is in the north and the economic center is in the southeast. So, there are problems in China. Old revolutionary base areas, areas inhabited by minority nationalities, frontier areas and poor areas. It's simple poverty. Some have resources that have been seized by the central government. Take it to the southeast coast. In the end, they didn't get a corresponding return. They are complaining about the central government. Most of them are ethnic minority areas, and they demand autonomy. Even limited autonomy, right? In fact, the Dalai Lama has always proposed a road of limited autonomy. It's just that people don't know. The people of Xinjiang have long wanted to go out independently. In previous dynasties, there were wars and uprisings. The Soviet Union also supported the local forces in Xinjiang. But what the Soviet Union wants more is to let you join the Soviet Union than to make you truly independent. So why is there such a road dispute in China? Because in the whole country, there is no effective opposition. Even an opposition coalition. Therefore, we can only choose the second best. They demanded that all localities be independent, to disintegrate the centralized rule of the Communist Party of China. This is a helpless choice. It is not the intention of the Chinese to split the country. So, we've seen it since the revolution of 1911. This banner of independence was raised all over the country, which led to the demise of the Qing Dynasty. So, after the demise of the Qing Dynasty, is it true that China has formed a real unification? Actually, no. Until the 38th year of the Republic of China, the central government has not completed the reunification of the whole country. The so-called unity is formal. The state of local separatism has always existed, more or less. In the early 1920s, before the Communist Party was founded, including the early leaders of the Communist Party of China, they are all promoting the independence of the provinces, keeping the door closed, and not meddling in other people's affairs. The famous ones are written by Mao Zedong, aren't they? Written in 1920, he asked Hunan province to close the door. Don't worry about the affairs of other provinces. What about the truth? In fact, in Guangdong, we see a slogan of joint provincial autonomy. In fact, we know that if there is no joint provincial autonomy, there are many other options. For example, each province really takes care of itself. Look at the situation in Shanxi at that time. From the revolution of 1911 to the relocation of the national government to Taiwan, Yan Zishan, his management of Shanxi, has always been dancing from 3 eggs. Kuomintang, Communist Party, Wang puppet regime. So, how is the construction of Shanxi? It was called a model province in China at that time. In fact, the northeast region, the puppet Manchukuo at that time, developed faster than it. Well, it shows that China is in a state of division. It is not uncompetitive for each province to implement a separate management mechanism. The largest city in the Far East, at that time, was Shanghai. It is this kind of economic activity within the concession or the old concession. Well, it is more likely to absorb funds and management methods from Britain and the United States. Talents from overseas are even inclusive. Shanghai uses a large number of foreign people who are not of Chinese nationality to manage the area. So, its economic vitality, its competitiveness, and even its trade hub function. It was the most powerful in China at that time. At the same time, it should be said that China also had several major trade hubs, such as Tianjin and Wuhan. But it can't be compared with it. That is to say, in a state of division, in a state of apparent unity. As a matter of fact, China is also following the path of each province with its own characteristics. They don't force national averages or use the same guidelines to deal with the economy. Even dealing with economic problems. So, if we want to copy the way of the United States to form a federation, this could be many years from now. Because the federation has federal benefits. First of all, foreign governments deal with you if it doesn't involve the local laws. In fact, the central government can sign some economic documents on behalf of the central government. All they have to do is to connect with one government. If 30 or 40 provinces are really formed in China, 6 or 7 local separatist regimes, in fact, it will have a certain degree of difficulty in international exchanges. It's better to have a federation. Unless there is a conflict of laws related to your self-government, it needs to be adjusted. In most cases, you can save a lot of customs clearance paperwork. For example, you are now an enterprise. You need to sell things to China. There are now 27 or 28 local separatist forces in China. You have to sign an agreement with every force. Even customs duties are levied on checkpoints between provinces. Then it will be restored to the Lijian system, isn't it? How do you deal with it? Your cost will be high. Well, the greatest advantage of the federation is that it has an army and a constitution. Only the central government conducts international exchanges with the outside world. Each province can maintain its own distinctive characteristics. That's it. In the future, China will certainly move towards federalization. It is difficult to form a unified China after the Communist Party. It is also unrealistic to split for a long time. Because it will have wear and tear, and there will be a homogeneous competition. So, there is no question about who is more competitive. It's just that after China's decommunization, the form of a country at a certain stage or at different stages, no matter how many years in the past, in the end, what appeared in the land of China must be federalism. I have full confidence in this. Thank you. Goodbye.